you've been following it. So in the Philippines right now, there's a whole debacle about the jeepney phase out. Okay.
Right. Right.
Apparently back in February or March, there was like a 1 week riot, or what do you call it? Is it a riot? No, it's not a riot, because riot usually means protesting.
Yeah.
It's like a week long protest about,
Right.
well, with these jeepney drivers trying to go against I guess the past law that about the jeepney phase out.
Yeah.
For those of you guys that don't know, the number one mode of transportation in the Philippines is the public transportation called the jeepney. Um,
Right.
it actually derived from World War II,
Mm.
where the U.S. military left an abundant amount of jeeps
Mm-hmm.
in the Philippines. So the Filipino people decided, hey, why not make money out of this? So they basically stretched this thing out, and you can put like 20 people in them basically, and use it like as a
That's right.
public transportation, right?
That's right.
Right. Now, the problem with these vehicles is, well, one, they're very reliable, first of all, right? They're reliable. They last you forever if you take care of it. The problem there is they're still diesel run, and they create, apparently, especially in Manila, it equates to over, what was that I read? 40% of the pollution in Manila.
Okay.
Yeah. So the government has basically signed or passed a bill that would phase out these jeepneys,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's going to be replaced with either one of two things, if not both. One, it's a all electric jeepney,
Mm-hmm.
or two is, I can't remember how they explained it, but it's basically similar to like a hybrid, where it's gas and battery operated. I mean, gas and electric operated,
Right.
or there's the all electric. And then the worst part there is they're phasing out the publicly owned jeepneys, where there
Mm-hmm.
won't be just any other resident that can open up a transportation business like having a jeepney. It's
But
all
you,
going to be corporate, or not corporate, but
yeah.
unionized in a way.
Yeah.
Like there's one company that could you need to have a company that could own at least five, I believe, from what I read or heard, jeepneys, then you can operate as a business.
I think I heard 15. But yeah, but
15.
there's a
Okay.
minimum number of members that you have to have.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Can I
crazy. Go
can I
ahead.
throw in a couple of cents there why the jeepney is the most popular one?
Go ahead.
Uh, quick explanation here if you're thinking of traveling around the Philippines or Manila or what, or even the provinces. So there's main thoroughfares, sort of like the national highways. That's where the buses usually travel, right? Those are the big roads. And then the sort of middle thoroughfares, which is, let's say, EDSA, right? That's the main thoroughfare, national highway, buses pass there.
Right.
But if you want to pass Boni Serrano, which is a sort of a smaller road, buses don't pass there, but that's where that's where the jeepneys pass.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
And then if you go inside the subdivision or inside the barangay, that's where you take the tricycle, because the jeepneys don't and buses don't go inside the barangays. So that's kind of the hierarchy / organization of these vehicles. So buses, jeepneys, and or FXs, or little minivans or whatever, and then the tricycles service the smaller
Small
roads.
communities. Yeah, yeah.
So quite naturally, most of the people that travel are on the main thoroughfares where the jeepneys pass.
Right.
Right. But if it's like major national highways, or you're going from Manila to the province, you'll probably be taking the bus.
Right.
Okay. So that's why majority of the people are on the jeepneys.
Right.
Another thing, I don't know if you were going to mention it, or that stuck out from the research that I had looking into that issue. and I don't know if this has been approved, but I think that they were also being told that the way that it's going to be done is that they're going to have their own, like they're going to be on a payroll.
Correct.
It's not going to be, if you don't travel today or if you don't get passengers today, it all depends on how many passengers you get.
Right.
That's the way it's done here, for millions of years.
Right.
But the way it's done there, for example, like everything's on a schedule. So and whether they're passengers or not, they got to keep the wheels turning.
Right. Right.
I like that idea of the way that it's done there, where whether they have passengers or not is they get paid, because the reason why they're causing so much traffic is they sit around on the terminal or on the middle of the road waiting for passengers, because if they don't get passengers, they don't get paid.
Exactly.
They don't make the money that they expect to be making that day.
Right.
So I like the idea that they're going to be paid regardless of having passengers or not, because that's going to keep them moving forward.
Right.
/ keep them from hogging the road. That's why they're being called the king of the road here, the hari ng kalsada, because they will move whenever they feel like moving, because they don't make money if they don't get passengers. So for me, that was that was a pretty big highlight of that proposal. And I don't know if it was approved or not, but that's one of the things I think that they were contesting.
Yeah, because but why would they contest that though? I mean, from what I've read, it's 720 pesos per day as a driver.
If they keep doing it the way they do it, they could earn like twice that, 2,000 pesos.
Right. That's true. That's true. But again, that's what causes the traffic and the pollution. I mean, they're on the road, what, 12 to 16 hours per day.
Yeah.
I mean, that $720, 720 pesos is probably what, on an 8-hour shift, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And
then they do, they get overtime and that kind of thing.
Correct. I think it's going to be helpful in regards to taking care of the environment and the city itself, because apparently in Metro Manila alone, there is 70,000 from what they have registered. Okay. 70,000 jeepneys. That's a lot. Can you imagine just even just 10% of that on the road on any given day?
Yeah.
I mean, 70,000 in Metro Manila alone is insane.
But I think the argument here is more about like, yeah, but what about what I'm earning during the day? It's like, who cares about your statistics and, how good or bad it is for the environment?
Right.
The argument, the way I understand it is, yeah, but what about the money that I'm making? Who's going to feed my family?
See, that's the thing there. I mean, they have to come up with a better pay system for that, because that's the only drawback that I can see there in regards to the pay. I agree with what you're saying, because they have to come up with a larger figure, right? $720 or 720 pesos is not per day. It's not going to cut it, especially if you have a family. Okay.
Plus, let me just to wrap up our context here.
Yeah.
If they do get the new jeepneys, they also have to pay for that.
Correct. Well, no, they don't. If you're in a corporation, no. Basically, people can create a corporation, but they need to have, yes, you're correct, 15 jeepneys within their possession to be able to create a corporation. All those jeepneys needs to be registered. Okay.
And they're not free.
Exactly. But the pay on that, I mean, these corporations are the ones that's going to be making a lot of money. I guarantee you that. Okay. Because they're only paying the drivers. Yes, they're only paying the drivers $720 or pesos per day. But even though they're still paying for these vehicles, they're going to be making money hand over fist. You know what I mean? They're going to be making a lot more money off that. Basically, it's the rich getting richer and whatnot, again, as usual. And regulating. Yes, it is going to help with the pollution and the traffic, because let's be honest, the traffic in the Philippines is just ridiculous. It should not take you 3 hours, even on a 125cc scooter or motorcycle. It
Mhm.
shouldn't take you 5 hours to get home, or even 4 hours, or even 2 hours. It shouldn't, you know, just to
That's just
go.
me.
I mean, to go
I
what,
I just drive really
100
slow.
kilometers? No, even so, it shouldn't. It should not take that long. The
Mm.
traffic
Mm-mm.
kills everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're stuck in traffic. What's happening? Is there a procession in front of us? And then finally you get ahead of the traffic and then you realize, oh, it's a jeepney. It's picking up passengers.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's gonna suck, definitely, but they need to figure out something. Um, they need to figure out a way to properly
Yeah.
disperse payments and whatnot, because 720 pesos per day is not gonna suffice. Granted, if 2,000 pesos, for example, a person makes 2,000 pesos as a driver on a day right now, they're probably driving what, 10 hours, maybe 12 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
How much is a Jeep now?
Oh, I don't know. I can't say.
Like 5
Can't say.
pesos, 10
But
pesos?
but if we bro, if we just really dumb it down to just the basics here, or the way I understand it, or we could argue about this, but the way I understand it is it's really just about the old way of doing things
Hmm.
versus a new way slash a different proposal on how to do it.
But how is that going to be different, though, to be honest? Or how is it that even going to start? It takes money to start something
Yeah,
new.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's the
for
hard
sure,
part. There's
for
two things
sure.
that I've noticed right now that's causing a lot of traffic in the Philippines. One, these motorcycles. Two, the jeepneys.
The motorcycles, how are the motorcycles? Excuse me.
No, I'm just saying, don't take offense to it, but you have to admit it makes it harder to drive a Jeep or a car or a bus if there's a bunch of motorcycles scooting around everywhere and you can't see it. And then you got to avoid killing somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no,
No, come on. I mean, even
no,
if you have a 4 lane, EDSA is supposed to be 4 lanes. Okay.
no.
But it turns into 6 lanes. But in between those vehicles, there's a motorcycle. How is that going to work out? How is that going to make it easier? You can catch the full episodes on youtube.com at The FlipSide with Jay and Noel. Full episodes uploaded every Wednesdays and Saturdays.